Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be speaking about the institutional order flow entry drill and how I use them to catch clean trades. Okay, now the institutional order flow entry drill was essentially when a fair value gap gets tapped in, however it literally moves away from that fair value gap straight away. Now you may think, how do we identify these? Well, I'll be explaining throughout the video. Okay, so as you can see, we have Euro USD here, and we're on the 4 hour time frame, right? And you can clearly see that overall we're bearish on price, yeah? Overall we're bearish. So ideally we're going to be looking for sells. Now if you look closely, we can see this fair value gap gets tapped into here, okay? Now essentially what I want to see is a tap into this fair value gap and then move away, right? And we have had that essentially. However, if you see the time, it is 5 a.m. New York local time, and we want to be trading within a kill zone. Okay, so that can be London kill zone or New York kill zone, or the London close kill zone. So we just scale down to the lower time frame, and we just wait till a kill zone time. So what is the kill zone time? 2 to 5 a.m. Okay, so we're just on 1 hour. Let's just put this forward. Okay, so obviously we come back into this fair value gap and we just literally wick away. Let's just wait till 2 o'clock. Okay, now we're in 2 o'clock now. When we're in 2 o'clock, I just want to go down to the lower time frame and identify what is going on. Well, if you look to the left here, we have these relative equal highs. Okay, and these relative equal highs get taken. Okay, now the relative equal highs get taken. This is a liquidity sweep. So this black line I've outlined here, this is a liquidity sweep. Why? There are actually buy stops above here. So what price will do is come above here, triggering all these buy orders, buy stops, and then eventually come down. Okay, and that's essentially what retail think. There's loads of buy orders. If this gets taken, they think that the market is going to continue going up. Okay, it's not the case. Now if we actually just look closely, then what can you see here? Well, we've had this touch into this fair value gap, the 4 hour fair value gap, so this blue shaded area. We've had this liquidity sweep. So what do we want to see now? Well, I want to see displacement away. Can we see displacement away? Yes, this is the displacement move. Okay, now what do we look for now? Well, you can literally look for anything to enter off of. Okay, that could be a fair value gap, order block. In this example, it is a fair value gap. Okay, and you can see we have a fair value gap here, and we also have a fair value gap over here. Okay, and a small one over here. However, am I expecting this fair value gap to get touched? Essentially yes. Why? Because in the London kill zone we can expect a liquidity sweep. What a liquidity sweep in what? This swing high over here. Okay, that counts as a liquidity sweep. Do we get that? Go down to the 1 hour time frame and look now. Why don't I expect that area to come back into? Look, we've got this fair value gap on the 1 hour and it gets touched into. Can you see that? Let me just, you can see that this fair value gap gets touched into over here. So I do not expect price to actually come back into this area. Okay, so essentially this is a, what I like to call a protective high or protected high, and my stop loss will be there essentially. Now what I want is this fair value gap, and we could potentially look for sells. Okay, so let me just forward this, and then what do we get? We get this wick into this fair value gap, and then what do we see? Now tell me, what do we see? Top into the fair value gap and move away. Now what was I saying to you earlier about the fair value gap? The institutional order flow entry drill is a fair value gap that gets tapped into and then straight away it moves away. Okay, it doesn't stay in there for long. It only stays in there for one fractal. Okay, and what I mean by that is, I said that wrong actually. What I mean by that is, on the 15 minute you can see this is only one candle and this is the candle's wick. It came there and it's moved away straight away. Now what I did was, before price came into here, let me just put this back a bit. I went down to the 15 minute time frame, right? And I seen price do this. Now, you may be thinking, well, logically, think to yourself, this fair value gap's being touched into, we're overall bearish, we've tapped into a 1 hour fair value gap and it's moved away, and we've got opposing sides of liquidity to be taken. What's the opposing side of liquidity? Well, this sell side liquidity over here. This is what the market wants to take. This is what the market wants to eat. Why? Because the market's already taken buy side liquidity. Remember them relative equal highs I was showing you? Okay. Now what did I do? Well, I took sells, okay? Where did I take sells? I took sells over here. Why? Because price came into the fair value gap, moved away, literally wicked into there and moved away straight away. This is the 5 minute time frame as well, so that's the 15 minute. And then my stop loss would have been at this high over here, so the high that touched into that 1 hour fair value gap, okay? And why do I expect price to move quickly away now? Because this sell side liquidity needs to get taken, okay? People who are buying here, or people who have jammed their stop loss here, are vulnerable, okay? So the market needs to take it. And then let's just see how this pans out. Obviously, you can see the trade execution after. I'll put it in the video. And simple as that, okay? Simple as 1, 2, 3. And that is a clean 2R call, okay? Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I never say that. However, this is the institutional order flow entry drill. When there's a fair value gap, price taps into it, monitor it on the lower time frame, and you can identify if it's a institutional order flow entry drill, okay? So that's when a fair value gap is just tapped into and then it quick moves away. It doesn't stay in the fair value gap. It's alright if a fair value gap does get traded within and the price stays in the fair value gap. That doesn't invalidate fair value gap. This is just called an institutional order flow entry drill, okay? And that's essentially just quick moves away from fair value gaps. That's what you need to look for, okay? Now, how do we identify that? Obviously, I caught this trade. Trade execution will be shown right now, okay? And you can look for the proof for yourself. It's in my public Telegram channel as well, which is linked below. But why? Because we took buy side liquidity, okay? So we took these relative equal highs. We also came into a 4 hour fair value gap. So this blue shaded area, a 4 hour fair value gap. And we had displacement down. We had this displacement. We had continuations. We had a low created, okay? We had a low created, then a high over here. And then what happened? We had this low, high, and then we create another low, okay? Or you could say here. But still, alright? Price wasn't really trading higher than here. It was just wicking above. Which means that we could get some really big displacement to the downside, okay? And quick displacement. Especially if it's during a kill zone time, like this trade was taken during London kill zone at 2:55 a.m. New York local time, okay? 3 o'clock actually. 3 a.m. New York local time, okay? Now, you can use this. This is very beneficial. This could help you. This is something good to know, to learn. And you should always backtest, okay? You should always look for new things in the markets, okay? Now, this is not the only thing I trade, and I don't depend on this because not all the time you'll see a fair value gap get touched into it and then move straight away. Like, I could find an example right now, literally right here, over here. We have this fair value gap over here. So the top of the first candle to the bottom of the third candle, and we trade inside of it for how long before it'll move away? Trading here for ages. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 15-minute candles, okay? Doesn't invalidate a fair value gap. This is just a certain model, you can say. Now, I hope that was helpful. I hope that was insightful. If you want to join my public Telegram channel, that's linked below. A lot of my trades, and I give tips, and a lot of gems get shared in there. You can join that. That will be linked below in the description. And if you also want to follow my Instagram, that will be much appreciated. That will be linked below. And my mentorship, which is a small private mentorship, that will be linked below. There's a few spaces left. And yeah, until next time, take it easy.